welcome to the demo of Twisted Jeopardy. Let's start by launching our web browser. You go to the website that you see here on the screen. It's academics.georgiasouthern.edu/CET/little tw_JEOP. And that will take you to this page where you can find out about Twisted Jeopardy, how it was created. If you scroll to the very bottom of the page, there is a download section where you can download the Twisted Jeopardy archive for your particular operating system. I'm working on a Windows machine right now, so I'll download the Windows 32-bit file. And I will save this on the desktop. Note that it is a stuff it file. I'll save that. I'll open the folder. And here it is. So I'll double click that. Yes, I'd like to expand it. Create the folder with the selected name. Yes. So here's my folder called Twisted Jeopardy. I'll open that. Here we go. And there's a folder in OS. Let's open that. Take a look at the contents. There's a folder called Cheat Sheets. There's a folder called Documentation. A folder called Game Files. And here's the Twisted Jeopardy executable file. That's the game file. We'll look at the Cheat Sheets, Documentation folder, and Game Files a little bit later. Let's go ahead and launch Twisted Jeopardy. Okay, so this is what we call the splash screen. And as you can see, it plays a quick little animation with a twisted version of the Jeopardy theme. You can play that again if you want to by clicking on Cue Music down here. There's three other buttons down here at the bottom of the screen. There's a Game Room button that actually takes you into the game room, the Control Room button, and then there's this About Twisted Jeopardy. That's a link to the web page that we were looking at just a moment ago. Let's go ahead and go to the game room so you can see what this looks like. You start with a series of questions, and you're asked to identify the number of players or teams. I'm going to select 2. Okay, let's do the surfers. And the landlubbers. Okay, surfers call the coin toss, heads or tails. Let's say tails. It is tails. Okay, these are what we call cue cards. These little dialog boxes will pop up, and you as the instructor would be acting as the game host and as the panel of judges or judge in the game. But I'm reading this. After a while you'll get used to it and you'll know what to say, but I'm supposed to say, surfers, you have control of the board. Today's game is entitled Demo of Twisted Jeopardy. Now for the categories. They are, and there's the title, and here are the categories. Odds and ends, CET Insider, Georgia Southern Trivia, Bullets, more stuff. Okay, so that's the game board. Notice that we've got 5 categories maximum, and we've got 5 rows under those categories. You'll notice that in the odds and ends category here, there's only 4 question squares. That's because I only entered 4 question and answer pairs in that category. So you can have less than 5. You can have more than 5 also, but only 5 at a time will be imported into the game board. So let's see, we've got surfers on the left and landlubbers on the right down here at the bottom of the screen. Surfers is all lit up, so I'm assuming that surfers won the toss a moment ago. So surfers, would you make a selection, please? And he's indicating odds and ends for 100, so let's try that out. For 100 points under odd and ends, what is the best means of preventing infection? I've read the question. Let's start the timer. You have 5 seconds to respond, surfers. How about wash your hands? Did surfers answer correctly? Yes, he did. Still your board, surfers. And so we go on and on. We play the game. I'll take a CET Insider for 100. And we continue with this until a question is missed. We'll say that he got this one right also. Still your board, surfers. Let's try CET Insider for 500. Oh, and we get a daily double. Well, I've only got $200 here. Even though that was worth 500, I can bet anywhere from $0 to $500, and I guess I'll go with 500. Okay, for 500 points. What is the URL for the CET website? You have 5 seconds. Boy, it would take me more than 5 seconds to spit it out. So I'm going to miss this question. No. And I'm down 300 points now, as you'll notice. So if you get a question correct, you earn the value. If you miss a question, that point value is deducted from your score. So we're switching now to the landlubbers with 0 points. You have control of the board. You'll notice that when you capture a square, the squares become color-coded to match your color. Surfers is color-coded as the blue player, and the landlubbers is color-coded as the green. Let's see that. Let me try Georgia Southern Trivia for 200. Landlubbers for 200 points. The approximate student enrollment in thousands. Gosh, that's 16,000. And I know that's the correct answer. I am the expert here, so I know the answer. Have to answer first. Okay, we'll turn the answers on. You notice now that we've got a green square here for landlubbers. Let's try Georgia Southern Trivia for 100. The name of the president of Georgia Southern, well, that's Bruce. Bruce Groovy. And that is correct. And since I have answers on checked here, the question will be shown again with the answer. That slows the game down a little bit. For that reason, folks like to be able to turn that off. So that's how the game operates. There's another thing that you can do here that you need to be aware of. Let me see if I can find another daily double here. I'll run through this as quickly as possible. You note that this question has a URL built into it. You can do that with your questions. In this case, I'm asking the player to identify the heart rate from the audio file, and I can click on this link and it will open the web browser and actually play the media. Gosh, okay, I listened to that. Let me see if I can guess that. I'm going to say that was 72 beats per minute. 72. Again, I have 5 seconds to respond after I get back to the screen. And I'm going to say I got it correct. Still the lamp. Okay, hang on. I'm going to compress 90 seconds into 10 seconds here just because I can. And I've run the category, what they call a category capture. When you run a category like this, you get whatever value that category adds up to added again to your score. So I've just gotten a bonus of 1,500 points to the 2,400 that I've earned already. That almost doubles my score to 3,900. Okay. When you run a category, you must surrender control of the board. So control is shifted back now to the surfers. Surfers with minus 300, you have control. All right, also called Mr. Web CT. Well, that would be my friend Raleigh Way. And 300. The main phone number at the CET, oh, I call it many times, 0049 here on campus. Yes, still my board. How about 500? Oh, another daily double. Well, gosh, I'm only up to 200 now, but I can go up to 500. Gosh, I don't want to risk this again. I think I'll only do 225. Now, notice what happens here. I clicked on the 500-point square, and I'm betting 225. If I answer correctly, what is the URL for the CET website? Well, let me answer correctly this time. I do know this one. It's academics.georgiasouthern.edu/CET. Yes, I did answer correctly that time. And since I get it correctly, the point value that I bet will replace whatever value was in that square. So if I had $3,000 to bet there, that would now be 3,000. Still my board. Let's see if I can run this category. Oh, another daily double. All right. Well, this one is worth 400. I have 425 to bet. Let me do 425. All or nothing here. The year the CET was established, that would be 1997. Yes, and I've run this category again, so I get a bonus of $12.50, and I transfer control to landlubbers. So I guess you see the way the game's played. Let's take a look at a few other things here. You can look at the rules of the game by clicking the rules button up here, and then you just close this box by clicking it again. You can also look at the judge options. Let me click that, and that will require a password, which you can get for free at our website. I'll enter that, and that will open the game record. And that just, it lists everything. So if you make an error in the game and you need to look back at what's happened, it's here. Of course, you can't see what they answered because the players answer audibly. However, it's useful to have the questions and the answers here and what points were wagered. If you need to change a score, you can do that here. I'll change a surfer's score now. Click on Change Scores. I want to change the score for the surfers, and I'm going to bump that to 4,000 now, and my score will change to 4,000. So yes, I can cheat at this game if I want to. So that's the basics of how the game is played. Let's look now at the control room. That's what really makes this application powerful. Again, the control room, like the judge options, requires the password. So I'll enter that, and that takes you to the final interface. But you can see here that the name of the game is displayed. The names of the categories are displayed. The questions are displayed for each row. And I can click on this bar up here, the question and answer toggle bar, and now I can see the answers to those questions. So you can browse the questions here. If you want to change the number of daily doubles, it looks like at present there are 3 daily doubles. You can just pull the slider over to drop that down to 0 or go as high as 3. For row point values, you can click here and you can select from 100 point values or 200 point values. Or if you want to create your own, you can customize it and enter a value for row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5, separated by commas. Okay, but I'm going to leave this as the 200 point values this time. What I need to show you here is that you can create your own game files by clicking on Open Game Template. It will, the program will ask you if you want to create a template that has 5 categories with 5 question-answer pairs in each category, or you can change those numbers. The only rule here is that this number, the first number, is the number of categories, and you can only have 5 categories maximum. But let's say that I wanted to have 4 categories and let's say 8 question and answer pairs in each one. I just set it that way and click OK. And this game template would open. And this is a category. This is the title of your game. That's where you type that. This is the category. And there are 8 question and answer pairs beneath that first category. Same thing is true for the second category. And if I'll scroll on down here, the same thing is true for category C and for category D. So I've only got 4 categories, but there are 8 question and answer pairs in each one. The pink box over here, text box, is your formatting assistant. It kind of guides you through the rules for formatting this document. But let's look at it real quickly. I think I can give you the basics. Line 1 of your game file is the title of your game. Line 2 is the title for your first category. Now, this has to be formatted in a particular way. It must start with a period. The category does not have to have all caps, but we suggest that it has all caps. And I think there's a limit on the number of characters you can bring in as well. I believe it's 20 or 25 characters. And lastly, the last word of this line must be a number. If you decide to change your mind here with the number of questions and answers, let's say that I really have decided to go with just 6 question and answers for this category, I need to make sure that my question and answer pairs match this number. So I need to change that to 6. And I'll go ahead and create a file called my game. And Steve's Hobbies. Oh, I didn't do all caps there, but I'll let it go. And I'll put in a question and answer for the first pair. How about, what is my favorite sport? And the answer is windsurfing. And once I finish with all this, I can just save the file. It'll ask me what the name of the file should be saved as. I'll call it Steve's Test. I don't want to put this in the cheat sheets folder, however. Let me go back to the desktop level. I want to find the Twisted Jeopardy folder. Open that. Put this in the game files. It's called stevetest.txt. It is just a text file. And I'll save that. Then I'll be asked if I want to regenerate the game board from that save file. And just to show you that you can do that, I'm going to regenerate that board. You'll notice that the title shows up here. The first category I created shows up here. I've only got 4 categories, so the 5th category disappears. Let's see. It did not select the question, the first question. It selected question 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the 6 questions that I had. You'll notice in category 2 I had 8 questions there. It selected 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8. Let's regenerate the board. I'd like to get, there it is, what is my favorite sport? Okay, windsurfing. So that's how the game template works, and you now see how to regenerate the board so you can see how to shuffle those things. If you want to edit this game board, you can just click Edit Game Board. That same file will open. We can hide this. I can add another question if I want to. Save it again, regenerate the board, and on I go. But I'll stop here at this point. I can also import an existing game file. Let me try one of these. Let me go to my game files again, and I'll import Georgia Southern Nursing Know-It-All. How's that? Nursing Know-It-All. Open that. Okay, there it is. You can see that I don't have 5 questions in some of these items, so I only get 2 or 3 in the 2nd and the 4th column. You can create a cheat sheet. Again, you're the game host as the instructor, but you also play the role as the judge. And if you want to have the questions and the answers at your fingertips, you can create a cheat sheet for either the game board, which will have just the info in the game board, or you can create a cheat sheet for the original file, which would have all question and answer pairs that existed within the text document that you created. In this case, I just want the game board. Let's do the game board. That'll ask me what to call it. I put this in my cheat sheets folder. Okay, so I go back to the Twisted Jeopardy folder, open the cheat sheets, and this is the GS Nursing Know-It-All.html file. And export's complete. Let me open that file now. Let's see, file, open. I'll browse for it. It's in the Twisted Jeopardy folder. In the cheat sheets, it's called Nursing Know-It-All. I believe that's it. Let's see. Okay. And this is what the cheat sheet will look like. It is a HTML document that is simply a table with the name of the file, whether it is the game board or the original file, the category titles, the questions, and these are color-coded. You notice the first row is white. That's the 100 point or 200 point or whatever point value you have for that first row. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. And if I scroll on down, you'll see I've got white and white for the first row, gray for the second row. Here's the third row. Where did June Alberto complete her DNS degree? Well, it's color-coded down here so I can find out Indiana University. So that's how the cheat sheets work. You can also change your password here. And of course, if you want to go back and play this game, you can simply click that button and we'll go right back into the game room. This time I'm going to play one player. I'll just write my name in. Today's game is entitled GS Nursing Know-It-All. You have control of the board, but first, the categories. They are staff, admission to MSN programs, new nursing news programs, and history. And here are the squares. And let's see, I'm playing this by myself. This works a little differently. You can play one or two players. Normally, if you set this thing up to be downloaded by your students, they can play it by themselves. In that case, they need to be given the answers. So that's what happens when you have one player. For 200 points under the category staff, the chair of the School of Nursing is, let's see, that would be Jean Bartels. And they're given the answer. The answer is Jean Bartels. Did you answer correctly? I did. Well, let me try new nursing news for 1,000. Question is, the cost in millions of the new nursing and chemistry building. Holy cow. I don't know this one. The answer is 24 million, and I did not answer correctly. Well, look what happens. If you answer correctly, you capture the square. If you miss the question, that total is subtracted from your score, but that square is also disabled, so you can't try it again. Not so in the game when you have two players. If you miss it in the game where you're playing against an opponent, your opponent can try to steal that same question from you. So that is how Twisted Jeopardy works. I hope you enjoy it. If you have suggestions for making adjustments or adding other functions to the game, let us hear from you. Our email address is cet@georgiasouthern.edu. Enjoy.